What's good, Pippin? What up, what up, what up? What up, what up, what up, Afro Pit? Nah. Peace, peace, God. Peace, peace. It's good. So, on this video, fuck the quality. Thanks for introducing Thought Asha. Absolutely, absolutely. Fuck the quality on this video, because obviously it's at night. Peace, peace, peace. Can y'all hear this breakdance music in my ear? What up, what up, what up, Jory? What up, what up? So, fuck the quality, we just gonna go in. This just couldn't wait. So we gonna go in. Let me get to this bridge. What's the word? We about to get into the word right now. Let me just get, all right, right here. We're gonna stand in the middle of this bridge. We're gonna represent Mercury right now. Give y'all a good view, good, good. What up, what up, what up? All right, there we go. All right, let me turn this music off. Let's get in. All right, all right. All right, here we go. So we're in the middle of this bridge, representing Mercury, Elegba, Zarabanda, and whoever else is a representation of Mercury. We're going into Mercury right now. When you look on the tree of life, the 10 Sephiras, the 22 paths, the only 2 paths that lead, let me see if y'all can see my face actually. It's pretty dark, but I'll turn it around. Whatever, this is probably a better view. All right. The tree of life, the 10 Sephiras, the 2 paths of the 22 paths that lead to Kether, which is the highest sphere of reality, is the magician and the fool. Now, for those unfamiliar with the tarot philosophy and the themes, the fool obviously is a fool, somebody who's not mentally there, or who actually is mentally there, but they are automatically attuned to higher frequencies, which is like children, people that are mentally ill, or naturally spiritual people. Okay, I guess the light is pretty good over here. We just stay right here for a minute. But you also had a magician, which is a representation of Mercury. So what I want to talk about right now is being into the spirit of whatever it is that you're doing. Because at some point, you have to transcend the physical if you want to get into the spiritual aspect of whatever it is that you're doing, so that you can create miracles, so that you can do things that you have never seen done before. See, it's one thing to repeat something that has already happened, to repeat the cycles. It's another thing to rewrite history and not repeat history. If you really want to rewrite the cycles and rewrite history, you have to tap into your DNA. You tap into your DNA by activating the spiritual realm within you. So let's go through the process real quick, just to give y'all a synopsis of where we about to go with this. We're not going to take too long. And again, so we're going to get straight into this shit. So, whatever it is that you do, you got the desire, you have a desire to do it, you have an emotional attachment, you have the thought, and you have the actual work you put in, right? The 4 elements: fire, water, air, earth, right? That's pretty much what the average person does on a daily basis. They have a desire, they have an emotional attachment, their thoughts are in tune with that, and they actually execute that. However, to get access to the spirit realm, to get into the spirit of something, whatever it is that you're doing, to the point where it becomes automatic. Let's just say you're a producer, maybe an MC, maybe a beat maker, maybe an engineer, maybe a graffiti artist. You know a time comes where you're able to do things you have never been able to do before. At some point, you hit a stage where you may just be in the middle of doing whatever you're doing. You on stage, rocking the mic, Then you get into the spirit. You feeling the energy of the people. When you get into the spirit and you're able to do things you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. I see you going deep. We just getting started. We just getting started. Right, catching that vibe, catching that feel. When you in the moment, you on stage, you feeling the energy of the people, whether the feeling is good or the feeling isn't so good. When you tap into your DNA, see, this is the whole process of transmuting your DNA codes. All that so-called junk DNA that's within all of us, or that's what they call on the scientific level the junk DNA. Excuse me. That DNA can be written upon. You can write on your DNA. You write on your DNA by getting into the spirit of whatever it is that you're doing. When you get into the spirit of whatever it is you're doing, hold on, somebody is sending me Facebook pop-ups. Give me 1 second, let me move this off the screen so I can see your comments. All right, so you rewrite your DNA by getting into the spirit of whatever it is that you're doing so that you can do all type of fly shit that you have never seen done before. So on stage, you rocking the mic, right? All of a sudden, a spirit takes over you, or your spirit takes over you, because it's not just about external spirits. You also have internal spirits. And more so, I'm talking about now your internal spirits, which exist in your DNA codes, the strands of your DNA. A spirit comes over you. And now you're able to do things you wasn't able to do before. If you freestyle, it's when you're freestyling, you're going with it, then you say a hot bar or a hot line that just makes everybody say, damn, what the fuck did he just say? Some shit that you didn't even know that was gonna come out of your own mouth, but you just being in the moment, some miraculous shit fly out your mouth, right? That's when you start to rewrite your DNA, when you get into the spirit of whatever it is that you do. Yeah, definitely look at what she just said about the magician and the fool for extra information. For those, this is why you study the tarot, right? You study the tarot so that you can understand the paths of the tree of life. You understand the paths of the tree of life so you can understand the Sephiroths, which are the planets and, you know, extra energies. All these things are studied because these are the things that already exist within us, the tree of life within you. So we're just telling you about your own energies and energies you already have access to, but it gives you a path to connect to these energies. So the magician is a path between Kether and Chokmah. Chokmah is like the voice or the unseen force, where obviously Kether is the light, that being that we all have. You can say the crown chakra. Then you have everything that comes after, the emanations or the shadows of the crown chakra. Am I still fasting? Well, yeah, you see this. I'm fucking with the green tea. I'll tell you about the fasting though. I'll tell you about the fasting. Y'all just let me know make sure that y'all can hear me clearly, that y'all not, you're not distracted by all these cars. But I do this to get into the spirit. When you are on bridges, when you're on bridges, when you're in cars, when you're in the streets, as you feel the wind, every time you feel the wind, you feel spirits. The spirits coming. It's all type of information in the wind. It's all type of information in the air. It's all type of information in the ethers. Audio was fine. All right, appreciate that, man. So there's certain spirits that are gathered in certain areas based on the type of energy they represent. So by me being on the bridge, I'm now in tune with Mercury, which allows me to better deliver the message as opposed to if I was just sitting in the house chilling. You get what I'm saying? Chokmah, Uranus, Neptune. It really depends on which tree of life that you study. Because certain tree of lives have different meanings attached to them, but you just activate whichever meaning that resonates with you. So don't worry about the definite meanings. It's just all about, some people may be drawn to the Egyptian tree of life. Some people may be drawn to the Kabbalah. It just depends on who you are and what speaks to you personally. So don't get too wrapped up about concrete definitions of anything. You have to apply meaning to yourself. That's why you rewrite your DNA. When you get into the spirit of whatever it is that you're doing, it's like you are writing on your DNA and you are transmutating your reality based on the spirit that you are into. So if you're surrounded by a group of people and they're chanting your name, they ask you to dance or perform, whatever it is, and you know you're just doing your thing, and you're able to do things that you're not able to do before because you are in the spirit within the circle. The circle, people being in the circle is now creating a spirit, and the spirit now exists within this circle, which is why when you know people freestyle, what do they stand in? They stand in a circle. The circle encapsulates the spirit, and the spirit now flows through the circle. That's why everybody takes turns. The spirit is constantly moving. So when you are the center of the circle, when it's your time or your turn to perform, now you're able to tap into things, your own DNA, for example. This gives you the ability to tap into your own DNA and rewrite that junk DNA that exists within all of us. Now, I talk about the fasting real fast as an interlude. I'll walk down here a little bit. Now, when I was fasting, I got accelerated so much. The acceleration took hold in terms of, I'll give you that exact example. After I finished my last video, I believe it was called Liberation of Death, Liberation Through Death and Hardship. I believe that's the title of it. I received a phone call from one of my older homies. You know, somebody who's been doing their thing, definitely a part of hip hop for longer than I've been born. And not to put his business out there, but the conversation ended up being several hours. How can you donate? The fuck is my PayPal? freedomofrawexpression@gmail.com. Just put it in PayPal. Freedom of Raw Expression, spelled exactly how it's spelled in the dictionary. No altercations of the spelling. Type that in PayPal, send over the donation if you so choose. Appreciate that. Now, I received a phone call from an older homie. It lasted several hours. He was talking to me about his personal life. And as we're going through the conversation, things that were going through my mind, he was expressing. Let me see another way to say that. Let me set this down. The thoughts that was going through my mind around the time, you know, things that I just had on my mind, I didn't necessarily express to nobody. He became the expression of my own thoughts. This was very interesting because normally this doesn't happen, you know, when I fast. I fast pretty often. I'm pretty much going to be fasting again tomorrow. You know, I'm on and off, on and off, on and off. Because once the spirit comes over you, that's another thing. When the spirit comes over you, easier when you fast, when the spirit comes over you, sometimes it's overwhelming and sometimes you have to fall back just to process what just happened. What do I mean by that? You may stumble upon some type of new information, or you may have a certain type of experience that make you kind of take a break, like, wait a minute, I have to process this. Because things are becoming accelerated. Now, that's the second part of the video, which is the Hyperion Theorem number 2. The Hyperion Theorem number 1 was the 4 aeons. That was my very first live stream. So if you want to know, kind of get familiar with what Hyperion means, just watch the very first live stream. I don't remember when I recorded. Just type in the 4 aeons. Now, what is Hyperion? Just to give this quick side note, then I'll continue the story. The key word is hyper. Hyperion is a Greek titan, the god of heavenly light. The key word is hyper. Hyper means hyper, you know, acceleration, whether it's hyper speed, hypersonic, hyperspace, whatever example you want to use, it represents an accelerated energy. Now, what is it? What is an accelerated energy? You can say this is Kundalini. For example, you have the serpent. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen an image of a serpent biting its own tail. On one side, you have the serpent with the wings, then you just have the serpent. Also, when you look at the money sign, the American money sign, you have the S, then you have the line that goes through it. But sometimes you have the 2 lines at the top and 2 lines on the bottom. Those lines represent feathers. Now, what am I talking about? When we are tapping into spiritual energy, whenever we're talking about the serpent, not necessarily the snake, there's a difference between the snake and the serpent. When we talk about the serpent, the feathered serpent is still a serpent, but it has evolved. Now, what does that mean? When you think about a serpent, what do you think about? Sexual energy, sex force, the taboo, obviously the serpent with Adam and Eve, temptation, manipulation, not necessarily in a negative light, because at the end of the day, what the serpent did, and we know it's allegory, but what the serpent did was really help them evolve. It helped them evolve because they were not going anywhere in the Garden of Eden. They were in their full stage. So they were tapped into Kether just on the level of the full. And the full is connected to Kether in Bina or Bina, which is the feminine aspect of Chokmah. So let me get back on point. The serpent actually helped Adam and Eve evolve because they were on the full level. So they were tapped into the heavenly light, which Hyperion is. They were tapped into the accelerated heavenly light. They just didn't know how. They were just there. Just like a child is tapped into the heavenly light, but they're just doing it naturally. It's just a spiritual thing. But when the serpent manipulated Eve to bite the apple so that she would know what? They would both know the science of good and evil and become like the other gods who knew about good and evil. Basically, knew the difference between being a fool or a slave and being a magician. So because the serpent manipulated Adam and Eve, he allowed them to evolve into magicians instead of being fools. Now, if you go into the Jewish mythology, it talks about the angel Raziel. The angel Raziel gave Adam the book, a spell book, so that he can get himself, obviously him and his family, back into the Garden of Eve. It's like a guidebook. He gave him a guidebook. The other gods, or the other angels in particular, the other angels didn't like it, and they took the book away from Adam and threw it into the ocean. When God was notified of it, in the allegory, he retrieved the book and he still gave it to Adam. He was like, God, he or she allowed it to happen still. So Raziel is another form of Mercury. So Raziel wrote the book. Also, Raziel was a form of Thoth, Metatron, so on and so forth, Thoth, whatever you want to put. So it gave them the spell book so that they can learn how to get back to Eden, not so they can go somewhere else, so they can get back to Eden, so they can evolve, their DNA can evolve so that they become magicians and they become alchemists. So once they get back to there, and again, this is an allegory to everybody's life, meaning we came from the heavenly light as fools. We didn't know. You can say we are the fallen ones, the fallen angels, whatever you want to call it. We came from the heavenly light. You knew who and what you were when you got here. When you was in the womb, you were connected to your source, so on and so forth. Now we are in a position where we must become the magicians. We must evolve. But we have to understand there's a difference between evolving physically and evolving spiritually. Because, this is getting into the theme of evolution. Now, a question everybody has to ask themselves is, because, everybody talks about evolution. Did we evolve from a previous form and this is our current form? Did we evolve from primitive people to modern people? We really have to ask ourselves, because I feel personally that evolution is not the case. Because we can easily say, okay, we have channeled electricity, we have homes, we are able to do a lot of things we were not able to do before. When we was living in fucking tree houses. But that's not everybody's story. Like, everybody wasn't a slave. Even if you were here in America, everybody doesn't come from slavery. Everybody's not from Africa. Everybody's not from Asia. We all don't have the same story, which means we all don't have the same goal. So what does that mean? Just because we are in the modern age does not mean we have evolved into something that we didn't do before. Because when we look at things, when we look at pyramids were able to channel electricity the same way we do now, but it didn't damage the earth. See, that's the thing. That's the only thing that's really different at this point. The only thing that's different at this point was the technology that we possessed before we were able to harness natural elements so that it didn't harm the earth. As opposed to, we do the same thing now, but it's just all these fucking machines, which as a effect of doing things in a dishonorable way, now it damages the earth, which causes, you know, what is it called? Global warming, earthquakes, hurricanes, and all these things. These are just the results or the after effect of doing things in a disharmonious way. Meaning, you know, charging people all type of crazy amounts, you know, to do basic shit. You know what I mean? You know, getting people, you have to have a license, you have to follow certain rules and all this stuff. So as an after effect, that's why we have to deal with all this elemental damage. Just to constantly remind people that you're not trying to go anywhere. There is nowhere for us to go. That's why it's all about reconnecting to what already was. We're not going anywhere we haven't already been. We're not doing anything we haven't already done. It's getting back to your source, whether you feel it's Mother Earth or you feel it's a star constellation. Is that how we find balance, by knowing both sides? Right, you have to evolve from the fool to the magician. That's it. We know after you start acquiring knowledge, you start to realize that there's more going on than meets the eye. There's a subatomic level of existence, and there's also a spiritual existence beyond what we perceive with our physical eyes. I was explaining this in one of the earlier videos. There's 3 realities. 2 out of the 3 realities are hidden from your eyes. They're either too small or they're too big. So it's 2 out of the 3 levels of reality. Obviously, there's more levels. Just for this example, that's why you have the metaphysical, the physical, and you have the spiritual. So 2 out of the 3 of those realities are hidden. The fool only knows the physical. The fool is tapped into the spiritual, but doesn't understand the science behind why that is. They're tapped in, they just can't tell you how to do it. You see me in the dark, that makes us more creative. Well, you know, the melanin sparks all night. So the melanin is definitely sparking right now. That's why I chose to do a video at night, because I normally do a video on the sun. I'm getting bored. I'm tired of being in the fucking sun, so we about to be in the dark. We're gonna be in the chaos from now on. Talk about dark matter. You know, dark matter, that's going into the subatomic plane. That's going into the etheric plane. And I'll get on that right now. But let me finish the story I was talking about before, and we'll go right into that in just a second. So as I started to understand my big homie expressing my thoughts through him, you know, through his own particular experience, he's expressing how I already feel about certain things. It's been expressed through him. So at that point, I realized when you fast, you're not necessarily affecting people on a physical level. This more so taps you into, you can say, your telepathy. Meaning, if I'm thinking a certain thing and I'm fasting, which is amplifying my thoughts because you are in the Hyperion realm when you fast. So I'm giving this whole example just to give people more research information so you can understand what I'm talking about. When you fast, you access the Hyperion realm. The Hyperion realm is the accelerated realm. You start to accelerate yourself. When you start to accelerate yourself by not having food in your stomach and it amplifies your thoughts, your thoughts are amplified so loud that you start to hear it from other people. That's just how loud and accelerated your thoughts become. Other people start expressing to you what's going on in your own head. Now, you can say, is it that they're picking up on your frequency? Because, you know, by him calling me, he could have called anybody. And this conversation took place at like 2:30 in the morning. So this wasn't just a random phone call on, you know, 3 p.m. I'm like, what the fuck is he calling me at 2:30 in the morning? Like, he basically felt the urge to call me at 2:30 in the morning. It wasn't no life or death situation. It isn't something that had to be talked about at that moment. But because my thoughts were so accelerated, he was drawn to me at this point. You almost missed it. You know, just go rewatch it, man. You know what I mean? That's why it's pre-recorded. My thoughts were so amplified that it was being expressed through somebody else who felt the urge to call me at 2:30 in the morning, which most people don't call each other, especially, you know, not randomly out of the blue. But that was just how accelerated my thoughts were. So I took time to reflect on what was going on. This is how I arrived at this conclusion. And now I'm able to present it. So through my fasting, this is why I'm able to present this information. Not necessarily something I haven't touched on before, but tell you this in a way which adds on to the overall understanding. Like I can match it up with more things so it becomes more tangible to people that may feel this is a little bit too out there. I can ground it better with science at this point. That's why I can talk about the etheric realm, subatomic particles, all these things. And we're going to get into that right now. So why is it called the etheric realm? As we were saying earlier, when you tap into the spirit of something, you're able to scribe on your DNA. Obviously, it's not your physical hand. Your spiritual hand can scribe on all that junk DNA. The reason why it's called junk DNA is because it's like a clear canvas. It's for you. You have to write your story into that junk DNA. You have to write your own story into the junk DNA. That's why it really isn't anything there. You have to put the information onto your DNA. Once you change your DNA, which by being accelerated, you have to accelerate yourself, whether it's through fasting, whether it's through dance, whether it's through whatever method you choose to use. Once you start to accelerate your DNA and you hit a certain level, you start to scribe in the frequency that you're in spiritually, which allows you to go into deeper and deeper and deeper levels and do miraculous fly shit and do things that you have never seen before. How many people do you see doing things that you have never seen done before? Most of these people are really not in front of cameras, for one. I'm not talking about just athletes and entertainers. Most people, reality don't go past that. You know, it doesn't go past what a motherfucker's doing on the court or what a motherfucker is doing in a hip-hop song or any type of song. You're not seeing what the scientists are discovering. You're not seeing, or more so, seeing what they discover and able to add on to it. Somebody may make a new discovery in metaphysics. You are not supposed to particularly take their word for it. You should be able to add on to it because you have an understanding of not only spiritual elements, but scientific elements. You have to merge the two together. You can't be completely spiritual and you don't understand scientific terms. Because if you don't understand the practical aspects of the spirituality, you're not going to be able to ground the information. It's going to be abstract and it's going to be too intangible for it to become tangible. What do I mean by that? Everything is intangible. For example, you have an MC, or you can say on the underworld you have a pimp. Pimping is intangible. What do I mean by that? The actual spirit of pimping is intangible. How you materialize that reality is based on you. MC is intangible. The spirit, or you can say the spirit of hip-hop is intangible. The spirit of hip-hop has never been manifested. The spirit of hip-hop is completely spiritual. You make it tangible when you express it, but the actual spirit of hip-hop is never physical. It's never been in a physical realm. you have to tap into the spirit of hip-hop, or the spirit of pimping, or the spirit of shamanism, the spirit of something. You have to tap into it using your mind, which you access using your brain. You have to tap into the frequency of something, or the spirit of something, and tapping into the spirit, you are able to manifest it using your body. But that's not the whole complete story of it. That's just how it is being expressed at that particular moment. So every concept is intangible. How you materialize that concept is based on you. You can say spirituality or even science. There are no definites. There are no absolutes. Everything has variables. Because anybody can tap, just like anybody can look at a movie, but you're going to have different perspectives based on how people filter the information based on what's going on in your subconscious and your unconscious mind. Simple as that. Well, I guess that's not particularly simple, but let me explain it in a different way. Let me take a sip of the tea, though. So, just quick intermission. Take a sip of the green tea. Now, if we understand every concept is intangible and how it materializes is based on you, based on your particular DNA codes, based on what you write in your story, that's the difference. So that's why you have 100 people can be spiritual, but they all see it in a different way. And it all materializes in their world in a different way. So the core aspect or the core elements may be the same, but how it materializes is different for everybody. So there is no absolute, and that's the thing. There is no template for what spirituality should be, and that's another thing. Let me get into this thing real quick, the whole New Age shit, right? Everybody thinks, not everybody. Some people think that there is a template for how you should be if you claim something. For example, they say if you're spiritual, there are certain things you should probably know, or there are certain approaches you should probably take, which is incorrect. If you're spiritual, they say they assume, or you can say the assumption is, if somebody says they're spiritual, you may assume that they may work with crystals, they may work with tarot cards, they may know some type of esoteric knowledge, so on and so forth, right? They may wear little jewelry and accessories, and they may know about the chakras and kundalini, so on and so forth, the basics, right? So in our mind, because we have been conditioned to look at certain people in a certain way, we're looking for how people should appear and how people should be. But as I said, spirituality is intangible. How you write on your own DNA is based on you. That's what being original is. If you want to tap into your originality, study your Uranus. Study the house your Uranus is in, as well as the zodiac sign. Do you know Mind Smash? I have no idea who that is. So, study your Uranus, because your Uranus controls your originality, how you manifest original thought. That's what the planet Uranus represents in your chart. So if you want to see exactly what's the best particular way for you to manifest your originality, things that has not been done before, things that have not been seen before, then you study your Uranus. So at this point, since everybody has this idea, for example, you know, people try to put you in a box. See, this is what the whole New Age movement is for, is to put people in a box. That's why I don't subscribe to any type of movement, any type of, I don't allow myself to be put in a box, because once people put you in a box, then it's as if you die. And how long does it take to bring? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Example, because somebody asked me about dark matter, and this is me going into dark matter at this point. aka ether, aka melanin. Dark matter is what connects everything together in the universe, for one. So, I want to talk a little slow. Dark matter is what connects everything together in the universe. What connects everything together is dark matter. Quantum entanglement is the actual scientific term. Study quantum entanglement or chaos theory. Dark matter connects everything together. This is what allows us to use our spiritual techniques. Dark matter, ether, or melanin. What do I mean by that? This is what allows us to use telepathy. This is what allows us to tap into different dimensions. This is what allows us to lucid dream. This is what allows us to astral project. This is what allows us to do anything you claim to be spiritual. You do it using dark matter, which of course is heightened or accelerated in the nighttime, whether you go to sleep or you stay up. If you stay up during the night, it's easier to focus, it's easier to study, it's easier to be tuned in to whatever it is that you're tuned into because your dark matter is heightened, right? So, if it's dark matter, aka melanin, aka ether, which is why we're talking about the etheric realm, we're talking about the dark realm here. That's why we're talking about the spirit. You know, fire, water, air, earth, ether, or spirit, or knowledge. It's all the same thing, right? Information. So information travels through this quantum entanglement, which is, so we're trading information off. So even if you're not physically talking to somebody, you can be in somebody's circumference and it's still information being traded all the time. It's information being traded all through the ethers. This is also what allows the internet to exist, because we're in the digital age, right? We're all connected through the internet. This is what makes all this possible. YouTube, cell phones, all these things. This is what allows us to connect with so many different people. Quantum entanglement. So what they did is they studied chaos theory and they studied quantum mechanics, and they were allowed, or they tapped into, dark matter, which allowed them to create a replica of what's already going on, which is quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is the internet, and you can say it's not a physical form, but a digital form. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, aka the internet, cell phones, all these things, is quantum entanglement, which actually exists, which is called science or magic. Magic is understanding quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is what connects everything together. So quantum entanglement is what's connecting you to your life right now, to whatever your future life will be, as well as your past life. Now we have to go into the concept of time. Is time really real as we know it? Are the cycles really real as we know it? This is why I was speaking on, you either repeat your history or you rewrite your history. The cycles stay the same if you don't intervene. Right? You said what? Where does alchemy come into play with dark matter? Alchemy comes into play because let's break down what alchemy is, because again, there's so many different definitions out here, which is why I'm taking so much time to explain these things, so that, you know, just to lay some type of foundation so it doesn't have to be so abstract. You can look these terms up and study them for yourself, so it doesn't have to be no spacey shit no more. That's why I say I want to go more into the scientific realm, because, you know, once you master the spirit realm, you have to master the science so that you can understand the actual practical elements of what all these things is talking about. So you don't have to just say dark matter, ether, melanin, and not truly understand what that means, right? What up, what up, what up? So alchemy, what's the core? The core word of alchemy is chem. Chem means black. So a chemist studies what? String theory, yeah, definitely string theory. So you know what I mean? Shout out to my scientists out here, people who study science, who understand what's going on. So the core word of alchemy is chem, which is black. The study of blackness, what is blackness, melanin, ether, so on and so forth. So alchemy is the black. The black, what is the black? The dark matter, the ether. So alchemy is the study of dark matter. So when you practice alchemy, well, before you practice it, you study it. When you study alchemy, you're studying melanin. You're studying dark matter. You're studying quantum entanglement. String theory. These are the topics that you're studying when you study alchemy. It's just being studied and presented in a way that's more magical, or you can say it's just speaking in a different language. So you have the scientific language, then you have the alchemical language. It's all talking about the same thing. It's just using a different, what is the word I'm looking for? It's using a different approach. A different approach to the same process. So the same way I say rewriting your DNA codes is basically saying the same thing as studying and practicing alchemy. You're just studying what's already here. You're studying your body, you're studying your DNA, you're studying dark matter, you're studying the scene, physics and metaphysics. You're studying everything that's already here for us to study. Once you study it, and once you have accumulated facts and information on what it is that you're studying, now you're able to put it into some type of action. Okay, now that I have studied alchemy, I have studied dark matter, I've studied quantum entanglement, I've studied ether, I've studied the elements, I studied, you know, the zodiac signs, I studied astrology, I studied numerology, I studied the Kabbalah, I studied what, you know, history and how things came to be. That's another thing. We'll get into that in just one second. Once you have studied these things, which are all intangible, they're going to manifest differently based on who and what you are, based on what you have written in your story book. Once you have studied all these things and these topics, now you are in a position to practice it. Okay, now that I studied these things, how can I put these things into play? How you put the things into play is going to be based on what you have studied and how much do you really understand. But in order to get to that understanding, you have to put things into play, which will result in many, many mistakes, many, many trials and errors. But that's the point. You have to be willing to fail and be willing to say, okay, that didn't work. Let me try a different avenue. See, nobody wants to actually experiment these things. That's why, you know, you can't just take somebody else's word for it or what worked for somebody else. You have to study like they studied, then you have to put things into play like they put things into play, but you may come up with a completely different understanding because you are a different person and you have your own mind. Because you have your own mind, certain things are going to come into play that didn't come into play for other people. This is why we are all original. We are all original because when we put things into play, meaning if I say the same mantra as somebody else, we're still going to have a different result because my mind works differently and my whole genetic build is different than somebody else's. So even if we're doing the same thing, unless we're doing something together and having a collective experience, but if we're having an individual experience, we're going to have an individual result. Because again, if we understand that everything is intangible, all these concepts and theories are all intangible, how they manifest for somebody else is going to be different than how they manifest for us. So once you go through this trial and error period, just practicing, putting things into place, seeing what works for you, what doesn't work, you know, sigils, spells, you know, people want to use herbs, crystals. This is where all these things come into play. This is just, okay, let me work with the energy of Venus through working with the rose quartz. For example, when you work with a rose quartz, that's tapping into the energy of Venus. So your particular relationship with Venus is going to be different for somebody else's because what your actual Venus is in your astrology chart is different than what somebody else's is. So how Venus affects you is going to be based on your Venus alignment personally. This is what makes everybody experience unique, because we all have different alignments. No two people have the same alignments. No two, even, again, this is why we go into Sabian symbols. So even if two people are a Libra, you may be a 19th degree, they may be a 23rd degree, which makes a complete difference, right? So at the end of the day, things are going to manifest differently for everybody because we are all genetically different. So, going back to the dark matter and going back to the ether, this is why it's called dark matter. It's hidden. The reason it's hidden is because it's intangible. It's intangible because it has to manifest differently every single time. That's one thing about melanin. When you try to put it into a box, it dies. You can't put it into a box and study it like a lab rat, which is what most people try to do. They try to put it into a box, whether it's, oh, you're this, you're that. Always listening, definitely, you know, I'm always watching. They try to put things into a box and study it like a lab rat, or study it like a monkey, or study it like a roach. What is this roach gonna do? You're going to put it in a box, or you're going to put it into a controlled environment, and you're going to study its reactions. Okay, put a banana right there. How's it going to react? Okay, put something else right there. Put a different female monkey. Let's see if they're going to mate. That's pretty much how most people study. They put it into a box or a controlled environment, and they want to see how it reacts based on, okay, look, and they put all type of different type of variables. All type of different type of variables. They put all different types of variables and, you know, all type of circumstances that you can put an animal in, and they study it. They also do it for humans as well. They put you in certain type of scenarios to see how you react, whether you're on a job or whatever. It's always tests being conducted because we are in the information age. So data or information is king. So every time you go on the internet, on your cell phone, on your laptops, you know, they're collecting data. Unless you use a VPN and a private browser to shield all that, which most people have no idea about that. You know, in the dark web, most people have no idea about how to access that. Unless you're going through extra precautions to hide and shield your shit, everything is available. So everything you're doing on your phone, everything you're doing on your laptop, everything you do on your computer, everything you do when you access the internet, your IP address, everything is being tracked. So by everything being tracked, they sell the data or the information to advertising companies and promotion companies, right? They sell the data based on what people are doing, so they can use that data. You know, this is especially why Google is such a powerhouse at this point, because most people use the search engine of Google. So every time you're searching in something, they're gathering information and data. What are people searching? What are people watching on YouTube? What type of websites are being visited? They're collecting this information, and they're going to sell it to people who have products to sell, because, okay, 10 million people just put in this particular search in Google. So they're going to start to advertise that particular search, or whatever it is. Let's just say it's teddy bears. 10 million people search teddy bears in 1 month. So guess what? You're going to start to see more advertisements based on teddy bears, because that's what most people are searching up. That's what most people are buying. This is why, you know, all the digital marketing, like Amazon, you know, everybody buys a lot of stuff from Amazon, right? So Amazon is allowed, or this is what they do. They take the information, they gather all this information of what are people buying, how often things are being searched. They're using all this data and collecting all this data so that they can sell you certain things. That's why you see certain things, you know, as soon as you type in Amazon, as soon as you type in YouTube, the type of videos that are being placed in front of you is based on all the things that are being searched, all the things that are being collected and sold back to you. So this is a game. Information is king at this point, meaning everything is intangible, everything is digital, which is why on my video, The Hidden Matrix, I let everybody know. We all use this technology, but how many of us knows how any of this stuff works? How many people know how Wi-Fi works? How many people know how Bluetooth works? How many people even know how two cell phones actually connect? Like, what is the process? Can you open up the back of your phone and point out what everything is? Oh, this does this does this does this, and how they interact and the electrical charges and the vibrations. Most people don't know how any of this stuff works, all right? So because we don't understand how most of this stuff works, this is why most people feel behind and they don't really understand what's going on. It's still certain people that don't even know how to use the internet. They know how to go on Google or YouTube, but they really don't know how to use the internet, which is why, although all this information is available to us, most people don't know about it. We are in the information age, we are in the digital revolution, but most people don't know how to utilize that. Yeah, when I Google something, I see a commercial of it on Facebook. The next time I log in, that's exactly why that happens. But again, most people don't understand that. So it's like, that's a coincidence. I was just searching that, not knowing that is a process behind why you're seeing certain advertisements and certain things linked with all these things. Because again, Google owns YouTube. So you got the #1 site and the #2 site. Pragmatic ad targeting. Yeah, see, the people who went to school and the people that studied it or took it upon themselves to learn these things, they understand everything that's being said. But the people who don't understand this shit, it's just intangible. This is what I'm saying. It's intangible information where somebody really thinks that they're going to study alchemy and be able to grasp it. That's a misconception. People study alchemy their whole entire lives. They are constantly perfecting their alchemy, basically perfecting their melanin, being able to rewrite their DNA. We are constantly rewriting our history, or we're going to repeat our history. If we don't rewrite our history, we're going to repeat our history. So you must constantly be rewriting your history. And you are constantly rewriting your history by studying the things that's going on around you. Your mind is basically, what is the word I'm looking for? Your mind is expanded through your physical reality. What we're looking at when we see everything is a reflection of our mind. This is why you can have two people standing on the same block, but they're still going to have two different experiences. You can be walking right next to a person, but what you see and what they see is two different things, because this physical realm isn't really physical. See, that's the next thing. It's all electrical charges. Let me see. See, you actually, let's see. My finger isn't actually touching this, even though it appears I'm physically touching this, right? I feel the sensation of touching it and all that, but I'm not actually touching it. What's actually going on, because if you looked at that movement under a microscope, you would not see any physical touching. But you're going to see electrical impulses charging up to give me the sensation of touch, but nothing actually touches, because there's separation between atoms. No atoms actually touch. You can fit atoms between atoms, meaning it's space between every atom. You can fit 900,000 atoms on the tip of a pen, just to give an example of the size of atoms. But no two atoms touch. I think you can fit up to 4 atoms between every one atom. So if you got one atom here and one atom here, you can put like 4 atoms in between. That's a mathematical meaning. To say it simply, does mathematics rule the universe? The universe is ruled by mathematics, meaning why atoms don't touch, there's a mathematical reason why that is, why they are shaped and why they behave the way they behave. It's mathematics behind all that. Take another sip of this drink real quick. Yeah, we're going into high science right now. This is definitely the Hyperion Theorem. You know what I mean? For real. Most people don't, who knows what this is? What that structure is? You know? Scientists can't explain ether or what medium light waves flow through. See, this is what it is. Science has a cap. Science has limitations. The reason science have limitations is because they are not spiritually connected to anything. Everything is just strictly practical for them. And that's why I say you must merge the two together. You have a ceiling on spirituality, you have a ceiling on science. Scientists can only go so far because the tools that they use to study all these things is machines, telescopes. You know, it's only based on what they can build. They use machinery. So now, with the spirit, there is no machine. The machine is the body. The machine is the mind. The machine is the brain. So the machine we use to study spirituality is different than the machines they use to study science. So you're using tangible things to study intangible things, which is damn near impossible. It's only so far they can go. Now, maybe one day science may evolve to a level where they can study these things, but that's not going to be nothing new, because spirituality is really just natural science, right? Spirituality is natural science. That's all it is. Because when you study natural science, you know, philosophy, psychology, so on and so forth, when you study natural science, pyramids, all these things are natural sciences, meaning there's nothing artificial about it. It's mathematical, proportionate things, meaning things are aligned on purpose. The pyramid is built a certain height on purpose. Its base is that way and that height and that length, that weight, for a certain reason. Like, everything is mathematically on point. The body is mathematically on point, because if there was one thing off, it wouldn't function the way it's supposed to function. So you have the universal intelligence, which created humans, which created nature, so on and so forth. Then you have artificial intelligence, which was created by humans. So we are already limited because it's artificial. The tools that we create is not going to ever outdo nature. You're not going to be able to ever create a tree. You're not going to be able to create another human being, you know, but people talk about cloning and all that shit, but a clone doesn't have a soul. It's a difference. And I know that's getting into a whole nother thing. But the separation of science and spirituality is natural. You're using the natural forces of the universe and natural elements to come to an understanding. Scientists are using created technology to come to an understanding, which caps them. And spirituality is capped because you don't know everything. We don't have all these things available to us. How many people have access to a pyramid to study it and to see how it actually works? Most people. So we don't have access to the highest realms of natural science, because we just, you know, all those things have been hidden away from us. So you can't go up to a pyramid, test it, see how it works, go, you know, so on and so forth, and possibly add on to it. Most people don't have that opportunity, because we live in cities, or we live in places where you don't see that type of shit. Those are the places that you go. You can go certain places. You say you can in Mexico, or if you in Mexico, and you can study those things, and you can go up and really see why they were built, how they were built, then shout out to you. If you have access to those things, then shout out to you, because you should be able to bring back information that somebody who doesn't have access to that, you know, you should be able to say things, okay, I'm able to study a pyramid whenever the fuck I want. So for the people that can't study a pyramid, now you can be a medium for them to understand natural science, as why they were built, how they were built, what purpose do they serve, and why, you know, why it doesn't damage the earth as opposed to why certain things do damage the earth. So in order for you to take away that cap of spirituality and take away that cap of science, you have to fuse them together. In order to fuse them together, you know, you have to study, you know, I wouldn't say take modern science word for everything, but at least be familiar with the terms and to be able to connect the two. Just like I said, quantum entanglement is the same as dark matter. Dark matter is the same as ether. Ether is the same as spirit. Spirit is the same as melanin. Once you understand that process and be able to merge all these things together, then you will understand, okay, let me study all those things so that I can get a complete understanding of what one of those things are by studying 5 of those things. So it's 5 different perspectives of the same one thing, and that same one thing is intangible, and you materialize that to make it tangible for you to understand by whatever avenue you take. For some people it's science, for other people it's alchemy, for somebody else it may be dark matter, you know, quantum mechanics, quantum physics. For somebody else it may be physics. You know, I think some people were asking some questions, so let me stroll back up and answer these questions 1 second. So we already an hour in, I'm just getting started. You know, how many people know what tree this is? See, there's a reason I drink this shit, not because it costs 99 cents. It's a certain energy. Spilling this shit, hold on, let me take a sip. Gonna get right back into it. Most people don't even know what color this is. Japanese maple. See, that's why we're all connected. Yeah, you told me you drink the tea and the Skittles. Yeah, I told y'all about the Arizona shit with the Skittles. That shit puts you in funny land. That's all I can say. It's gonna put you in funny land if you do it right. But let me give you the formula. You take the Arizona sweet tea, the one that is like a fucking platinum or a silver thing, the one that says sweet tea on it. You buy you a pack of Skittles, right? You take the 2 things home. Is it fine to pour? I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna explain the way I do it. You can do it however you choose to do it and you get the effect. But this is how I personally do it. You buy the Arizona sweet tea, you buy a pack of Skittles, you take those 2 things home. You grab a glass, you grab a spoon, you pour the Arizona into the glass halfway, right? You pour, you can say, pour 1/4 of your Skittles into the glass so that you have 3 other pieces or three other, you can separate your Skittles into 4 sections. Take 1 section, put it into the glass. Use a spoon and mix it up until the Skittles become clear. All the color dye is off of it, so they look like fucking pills, right? Mix it, 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 drink, right? So at this point, you should have maybe half of your Arizona tea left, or a little bit over half, and 3 sections of Skittles. So you already drink 1 cup. Probably feel nothing at this point. Another cup. Put 2 Skittles so that you have 1 section left. Mix that shit in. But you still have those other Skittles in that was in there before. So now you got 3/4 of Skittles in, half of the Arizona tea. Mix that shit. Drink that shit. Now, start eating the Skittles that are already in there. Start eating them a little bit. You're not going to be able to finish it. Because before you finish it, you're going to get a sugar rush. Or that's what they call it. You get a sugar rush. But the Arizona iced tea or the sweet tea is going to put you in a mode that's going to, it offsets the sugar high. Because the sugar high is mostly uncomfortable. But because you have the sweet tea, it offsets it. I can't really, you know, you got to see it for yourself. But it's going to put you in funny land. You're going to definitely feel, you're going to have to lay down. It ain't even, it's like fucking, it's like a strong drug. So I don't recommend the shit to kids. But kids have access to Skittles in Arizona. But they probably don't mix the shit in. So mix that shit in. So you still have a section of Skittles that you can enjoy. You know, if you just want to eat Skittles. Then you have a bunch of Skittles with the color dye off of it. You're just able to eat it. And it's just going to put you in funny land. So that's the formula for those who want to get into funny land. If you really want to get in, you know, you want to access the full energy, fuck with that. Power-rated Skittles when you was a kid. Yeah, it's all, that's alchemy. That's definitely a form of alchemy. But like I said, let me zoom up. Well, if you had a question, just type it again. So let me not have to go way back up. If you had a question, then just type it again. But we're going to keep going in. Just take another sip. Let's go over here. Put some lean in it. How many people do lean? How many people do lean? Since you motherfuckers bringing that shit up. Is nutting on a demon seal to invoke it disrespectful? Nah, it's like giving them blood. You are giving them blood. Semen is blood. You know? So, you're charging, again, a seal is a mathematical formula that invokes a certain type of energy. So, when you give that energy, your blood or your semen in this particular example, that's an offering. You're giving them an offering, or you're giving it an offering of something that cannot be produced anywhere else. Blood is natural. So this is the thing. This is why all that shit works. Blood rituals, blood, semen, sexual fluids. All these things are natural and cannot be artificially produced. Right? This is why natural science will always overrule artificial science, because we are able to produce things with our own bodies, things that help us get to the spiritual plane, which is, you know, why certain people drink their own urine, which is urine therapy. Urine therapy helps you access the spirit realm. Urine therapy helps you access the spirit realm because urine comes out of your kidneys alkaline. Urine is the equivalent to alkaline water, but it's 95% water and 5% of it is other shit, which helps you access the spirit realm, and it dissolves mucus. Semen, or blood, has melanin in it, or ether. Pure melanin or pure ether. So, you know, when women be swallowing the semen, you know, you're watching pornos or you have a girl that likes to swallow your shit, that's a good thing. Or she wants to, you know, paint her face with the shit. It seems sexual and erotic, but it's an actual health benefit to it. So it's not just people being nasty and taboo. It's actually like drinking pure melanin is healthy. When you drink blood, not just animal's blood, your own shit. If you're going to drink blood, drink your own shit. This is why women drink menstrual blood. It's like drinking pure melanin, pure ether, which takes you to the spirit realm. But that's neither here nor there, you know. That's for a certain type of mind. If you can handle some real hardcore shit. Everybody's not built. Well, let me see. Somebody asked about something. I just saw the movie Doctor Strange. I didn't see that movie, so I can't talk about the metaphysics. I didn't see Doctor Strange, but would you recommend it? Because I haven't. I definitely have. Does it feel like a metaphysical movie? Because I haven't seen that yet. How do I feel about CERN? Why they're trying to find the God particle? What is the God particle? DMT, or the spirit molecule? It's DMT. DMT is produced by the third eye. DMT is what gives you ability to see dreams. You know, so if you ever did DMT, well, how many people did DMT? If you ever did DMT, it allows you to go straight into the spirit realm. But the reason they can't find it is because, like I said, when you try to isolate the melanin and study it and put it in a box like a lab rat, it doesn't behave like it behaves when it's in your body. So when it's in your body, it behaves very chaotic. But when you isolate it from the body and put it into a fucking study tube, it doesn't behave the same way it behaves while it's in the body. So that's why they're always trying to find it, because they feel like, oh, it's in the melanin, it's in the ether. No, it's actually in an intangible place in the body. You're never going to be able to find it using artificial intelligence because it's natural science. Natural science cannot be found, just like you can't find the soul using artificial intelligence, but you can find the soul using your natural science, such as astral projection, you know, telepathic, all these things. You can find those intangible things using your natural science, but you're not going to be able to find it using artificial science. Be careful using blood because you're feeding in it. You may want more of the same. Well, you know, I don't think nobody's just drinking blood like that, like they drink lean. So I don't think you should be careful drinking your own blood. I don't think you're drinking it all day. You know what I mean? Unless you just like cutting yourself. Or you just like bleeding. So I don't think again, it is. Have you done that before? Have I done what? Let's see. So this shit got my nose running. Hold on. Okay. You've done acid. Do you got to go to South America to do DMT? No, just go to your local drug dealer. Drink piss, yeah. Your urine, but make sure it's clear. Make a batch of tea. You know, make a big batch of tea and drink all of it. By the time you finish it, you should be able to urinate clearly. It has no smell, has no taste. Once it gets to that level, drink that shit. Yeah, I've done it. I'm not going to talk about some shit I ain't do. Hell yeah, I do it. That's why I know what it does, because I've done it. So I've studied it. I studied what it does. I did it myself to see if it's some real shit, and that shit took me straight to the spirit realm. When you go to sleep, it makes your dreams more vivid. It gives you a natural high, and it's actually dissolving the mucus. You rather drink blood, then do it. That's why I'm giving you all type of avenues. Whatever appeals to you, do it. So if it's not the urine, if it's the blood, then drink the blood. You got that option, because your body produces both of it. Hold on. How about gold liquid? I heard it's good to raise your frequency to the Asha level. Again, if you want to spend your money on it, go ahead. But that's why I speak more about natural science, because none of these things require you to spend any money. So you don't have to spend these crazy amounts on anything other than what your body produces. You put yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, your blood could be used in your spirituality. Put that shit on your altar. Put that shit on your sigils. Put that shit on your third eye. You know how the Hindu people have that red dot? Put that shit on your third eye. Do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Same thing with the urine. However, smoke weed got so high you feel like you died. No, I haven't. Weed didn't do that to me. Shrooms did that. That happened to me in shrooms when I went to Devil's Gate. Went to Devil's Gate, popped some shrooms, smoked some weed. Yeah, you feel like you died. But it might have been the environment. But if weed is making you feel like you die, you're probably smoking some strong weed. And as long as you benefit from it, as long as you know, it is what it is. I'm not against it. But, you know, natural science. Let's see. You just text your boyfriend and told him next time, make me swallow your cup. Shout out to you as a girlfriend, because I'm pretty sure that made him smile. Goddamn. But back to the DMT thing. Your local drug dealer may not have access to DMT because most people are not familiar with DMT, and it's not a big enough market for somebody to just have that shit in stock. But you can also say, if you don't have access to DMT, you may have access to changa. Look up changa, which is like the leafy form of DMT. DMT is like a powder, a white powder, but changa or changa is like the actual leaf, the ayahuasca leaf mixed with another leaf. But like I said, if you have no connections to these drugs, then you must create a connection. That's when you fast. That's when you do your spirituality so that you can attract these things to advance and further your spirituality. This is why you would do it. This is not the only reason. So whatever you don't have access to, you need a plug. Whatever you need a plug for, you got to fast. Or pray for that shit. Pray for a plug to get you some changa. You know what I mean? Ask the universe to get you some changa. And pray and fucking fast on that shit. because you know you got to get it some way. If you want to have the experience, it got to come somewhere. You're not just gonna wait for somebody to appear in your life, because that may not happen. Sometimes you got to create it. You got to create it, but you have to accelerate your mind. Yeah, changa, C-H-A-N-G-A, C-H-A-N-G-A, changa. LSD is a little bit more powerful. If you want to do LSD, have a full 24 hours available to not do shit. Because LSD is going to totally take you out of this world. But DMT does the same thing, but it only lasts about 20 minutes. Right? So that's the difference. The changa or the DMT lasts about 20 minutes, whereas the LSD lasts like the whole fucking day. But the difference is changa is natural, whereas LSD is not natural. LSD is created by man, where the changa is produced by nature. Same thing, shrooms are produced by nature. What's the fastest way to manifest more sex? You got to raise your sex appeal. You manifest more sex by raising your sex appeal, you know, making people want to fuck you. What raises your sex appeal? Connect with your urine. I know, the most strangest shit, right? Put urine on your face, because it has healing properties. And again, I know it sounds weird, but you got to be a hardcore motherfucker. If you are really into this shit, if you really want to access your magic, you use your natural resources. Don't go out and spend your money on all this extra shit. Use what you already have available to what you have an abundance of anyway. Now, use the urine, put it on your face, clear your face up, put it in your hair, clean your hair, drink that shit, switch it around your mouth. It's going to whiten your teeth. It's going to clear your face. It's going to make your hair shine. It's going to do all this good stuff. It's going to dissolve the mucus that you may have. All these things are going to raise your sex appeal. And of course, exercise, work out, you know, make your body more lean, tighten up your body, and it's going to raise your sex appeal. So the quickest way, the fastest way to manifest, definitely get more active and utilize your own natural resources. You know, simple as that. Let's see. So swallowing gives you the same effect as DMT? No, it's not going to give you the same effect. It just contains melanin. So, in other words, semen contains melanin, but DMT is a larger, you could say a larger quality of it. So right, you take a little DMT, it's not going to be the same as swallowing semen. But what it will do is, it will definitely enhance your dreams because it is pure melanin. So, you know, after you know, do your thing with your partner or your multiple partners, whatever the fuck you got going on, take a nap after experience. That's why, you know, they say after good sex, you rest very well. Well, if you want to enhance that rest, you better utilize those natural resources. So that's why I call them natural resources, because all these spiritual things we talk about, you can have access to it by utilizing your own natural resources. But some people prefer to spend their money on these pills and these herbs, all the things that you can do naturally with your own body. So you make the decision about what do you prefer. Some people are just a little lighthearted, so they can't take it. So they're gonna spend their money on all this extra shit. But some people are a little bit more hardcore and they trust their own body. If you trust your own body, it shouldn't be a problem. That's it. You trust your own universally created body, it shouldn't be a problem. You know, same thing as that. Now, somebody's asking me this one question. I don't think I understand it. It'll only be for special occasions. Yes. Most of the time, just focus more so on your urine. If you're hardcore. But again, I know most people would prefer to do extra shit. So let's see. Somebody's asking me this one question. What is this? What do you know about, what is it, servitors? How much time should go by that can be activated? Do I activate using sexual fluids? I don't know what that is. I've been thinking about it the last few days hard. I don't know what that is. What is that? SVM CEO? What is that? I probably know what it is, but I just don't know it by that word. Oh, little magic entities. Okay, I see what you're talking about. I got you. How can they be activated? Can you activate it by using your own sex? Okay, I understand your question. I got you. All right. Now, all right. I'll just say it like this. Now, okay, I'll give you a technique. Try this if you're hardcore. So you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take anybody else's word for it. And you can see for yourself. When you wake up in the morning, make you some tea. A full batch of that tea. Drink all of the tea till your urine is clear. So it doesn't have a taste and it doesn't have a smell. How would you know? Because it's coming out clear. It's not yellow, right? When your urine is yellow, it's because you're dehydrated. Right, water clears up your urine because the yellow urine is because of dehydration. Okay, so once you hydrate your body and it's coming out clear, because you didn't drink a whole batch of tea, once it starts to come out clear, you start to drink it. Don't drink anything else after that. Can you use water instead of tea? The only reason I'm saying tea is because you're getting other nutrients from the actual tea instead of just drinking regular water, because water isn't giving you it hydrates you, but it's not giving you too much nutrients. So when you drink the tea, because you're not going to drink anything else, you will be okay for the rest of the day. Now, make you a batch of tea, drink all of it. Once your urine is clear, start drinking the urine. No more tea, no more water, just drink urine. Just keep looping your shit. Drink. You're going to have extra. You're not going to be able to drink it. Just drink the middle part, though. What do I mean by the middle part? When you begin the urine, let some come out, collect the middle part, then allow the end part to go into the toilet, whatever. So you're only drinking the middle part of it. The clean part, okay? Or the freshness, whatever you want to call it. So you're doing that the whole day, right? You're going to see how it makes you feel from the very first time. You feel like your body gets rid of it for a reason. Your body gets rid of it because it doesn't need it at that moment. For all the people who think urine is dirty, that's what your kidneys do. Your kidneys gets rid of all the dirty shit so that it comes out of your body alkaline. What up? And that's what I'm saying. See, most people feel a certain type of way because they think they're drinking something dirty, but it's your kidneys that removes all the toxins and all that. That's what your kidneys do. Study the kidneys so you don't have to take my word for it. The kidneys purify the urine so that when it comes out of your body, it's alkaline. So what you're doing, you're drinking alkaline water. So all that money you spending on alkaline water, you're drinking alkaline water. That's what it's doing. And again, don't take my word for it. Do your own research, do your own studies, and do your own practices, and you see for yourself. All the people who don't believe it, who just think it's bullshit, do research and educate yourself so that you can see reality the way it should be seen. This has been practiced. Urine therapy is an ancient practice. This isn't something that people just started doing a couple years ago. This shit is ancient. They've been doing this shit since ancient times. Just do your research. So this ain't just no new shit. So You're going to be doing that all day, recycling your urine. So by the time you go to sleep, you're going to see the true effect it has on you when it enhances everything. How in your waking state as well as your dreaming state. Yeah, Granny, you say rub the baby's pissy diaper in your face to clean your skin? Absolutely, because it's that 5% is 95% water, but that other 5% is it detoxifies. That's why you can put it on your face and it's going to clear up your face. You can switch it around your mouth for 20 minutes, spit it out. It's going to, you're cleaner. All the people that use toothpaste, try switching some urine around your mouth for 20 minutes, and you tell me that shit it will make your mouth cleaner than toothpaste can make it. It's just the way it is. It ain't nothing you can do about it because you're using natural science instead of artificial science, you know? So, again, like I said, this is only for hardcore people, you know? So you got to drink your own urine to create an entity? Absolutely not. There's a book called Creating Magical Entities, if you want to use that. I'm just talking about this is how you can do the complete process without having to add all the extra shit. So the process I'm describing, so you don't have to add candles. You don't have to add all this extra shit, crystals, candles, and all these other things. Do I practice this? Absolutely. That's why I'm speaking about it, because I've done it. I'm not going to tell you to do anything I never did before. So, I'm giving you a method that doesn't require you to spend any money outside of drinking the tea. If you don't have tree, just tea, not tree, just drink the water. Hold on, somebody's calling me. Okay. So I'm giving you this method so that it requires no money, requires no extra shit, and requires you to know nothing outside of the basic information I supplied you. Feel free to do your own research. Now, if you want to do all the extra shit, then do it. If you already have a system in place that you utilize that works for you, then disregard the information. You don't have to use it. But I'm giving you a natural method which requires no money or very little money, and you're going to get supreme results. As simple as that. I challenge anybody to find me anything that works better than your own urine when it comes to your spirituality, when it comes to healing your body, when it comes to detoxifying your body. You're not going to find anything more powerful than your own urine in fasting. Urine therapy and fasting, there is nothing that is more supreme than that. Period. There is nothing you can buy with money that's more powerful than that process. You're not going to find it. So for the people who don't want to spend any money and who want natural, this is all natural. No taste, no smell. This is all natural, which is going to enhance your spirituality. And when you combine it with fasting, which is why I say don't eat or drink anything other than your own urine. If the technical term for that is urine looping, type in urine looping and watch the people on YouTube that actually do it. People have recorded videos in their experience. So type in urine looping and see what people had to say for the people who actually did it. So, there you go. So that's a natural process, don't require no money, and you're going to have, it's going to accelerate it. It's going to accelerate your whole spiritual journey. Just simple as that. You don't need nothing else, no other tools. You don't need anything else. Everything else is extra. Do you drink it with a purpose or you just drink it? Now, of course, it is water. So if you want to program it just like you would program water, you're free to do so. But the urine is going to do its own thing, just like the body. The body has its own intelligence, so it's going to do its thing regardless. So if you want to enhance that, that's something you could do if you want to. If you want to enhance it, but you really don't have to if you don't want to. Like the movie Waterworld, he filters his urine. Absolutely, you know what I mean? I'm not talking nothing that hasn't already been proven. Everything that I'm saying has already been proven. So it's not no speculation. It's just, you just may not know it because, again, most people, most spiritual people don't talk about it. Water programming, yeah, water is the most programmable substance in the universe. So yeah, you definitely type in water programming. So like I said, most spiritual people don't talk about this type of shit because it's a lifestyle that people would like to bring, you know. You're going to see altars, crystals, herbs, witchcraft, and all this stuff, you know. But I'm giving you the real, like I always do. Can you drink some water in between? If you want to, but you don't have to. But if you just need some water, then go ahead. But again, do your own research. Have I ever practiced witchcraft? Of course. It's a field of study. See, to me, witchcraft is just knowledge of the herbs and knowledge of the crystals. That's what witchcraft brought to the world. So that's why we know what crystals do. That's why we know what herbs do. So on and so forth. That's really what witchcraft is. That's why you know certain things, you know, everything that a person would put on an altar, while you know what that stuff means, comes from witchcraft, or it comes from alchemy. So it's not just witchcraft. So witchcraft assign everything a meaning, which is the planet. So you know, like I said earlier, you know that rose quartz resonates with the planet Venus. That's witchcraft. That's how you know what each element is. So a good author for that type of stuff, if you want to study witchcraft or Wicca, Scott Cunningham. He's the one that made the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. He also got an encyclopedia for crystals, encyclopedia for metals. You know, get all his stuff. Okay. You can use a glass to project your thoughts into the water. Absolutely. Sleep with a cup of water under your bed or above your bed. So if I want to create this entity by 5 a.m., I need to start drinking my urine now. I mean, again, if you want to create an entity, you don't have to actually do this stuff. There are several ways to do it. This is just one way. And you can actually create an entity using your own mind and your own thoughts too. So, and what exactly are you trying to create an entity for that you can't do on your own? What is the entity gonna do that you can't do? You know. So I think somebody else asked something. Yeah, it's an hour and a half to help me get this job. Do you really need an entity to help you get a job? But if that's what you want to do, because of course, we can always use help. So if you want to create an entity, yes, you have to give an entity a name. You have to give it a purpose. You have to constantly give it energy. And you have to definitely make sure that you program it in a way that it doesn't harm other people, it doesn't disturb other people. So yes, give it a name, give it a purpose, charge it with energy, constantly give it energy, using your thoughts. You know, if you want to take it a step further to charge it, do so. But is it something that's going to happen in a 24-hour period? See, how powerful it is going to be based on your energy. So I would say combine that with fasting so that you can accelerate your energy. You know, you want an entity to kill ops for so I don't go to jail. That's why entities can make you invisible. You don't have to do all that. See, this is the thing. You have certain entities that can make you invisible, such as San Simone. If you want an example, work with the deity San Simone. San Simone has the ability to make you invisible from the law, so you don't have to kill anything. They just won't see you. Actually, let me show you the seal right now, because I actually have the seal. Let me show you the seal. Give me 1 second here. Pull this seal out. See, I'll be having these sigils on deck, because it's just that time. Yeah, here we go. Right? San Simone. There it is. Bow. There you go. So use that entity, will help you be invisible from the law. You don't have to kill anything. Simple as that. So do your dirt and be invisible. Yes, San Simone is the guy in the chair. The movie Saw. Watch the movie Saw. That's the energy of San Simone. It's all about activating that killer instinct within you. The whole purpose of the movie Saw, the Saw series, was to reactivate the killer instinct that has been dormant within all of us because we don't live in such a hostile environment no more. So the killer instinct has been deaded. So the San Simone or the Saw movies was to reactivate that killer instinct, or the planet Saturn energy, to channel that energy. So there you go. So all the people that's out here doing, that's all the people that's out here breaking the law, use San Simone, makes you invisible. So enhance your shit. Let's see, it'll help you shoplift. Well, I would recommend shoplifting. The fuck you gotta steal? You know, from a store. I don't recommend petty crime. Don't do no petty shit. It's not worth it. See, this is the thing. How do you spell that? S-A-N-S-I-M-O-N. S-A-N-S-I-M-O-N. That's Palo Mayombe, for those who are curious. The dark side of Santeria. Do you nut on the sigil, then meditate on it? You don't have to nut or put your semen on the, you don't have to do it like that. You can, you know what I mean? Do your thing, put your finger in it and put it on there. You don't have to directly just fucking, you don't get it messy and so you're going to be carrying this on you. You know what I mean? Just take a little dab, just dab it in there, just a little dab, put it in your wallet or put it in your pocket and protect it. You know, simple as that. A lot of Hispanics work with San Simone. Yeah, it definitely is big in South America. Definitely big in South America. Let's see. But, so what I was saying was, for all the people out here committing crimes, the universe doesn't recognize man-made laws. So let's get this clear, and I guess we can end with this. The universe does not recognize man-made laws. So just because something is illegal at this current time in 2017, the universal law is much older. So just because you can go to jail for doing something in this year, something that you probably could have did 1,000 years ago or even 100 years ago and don't go to jail, that's just the law at this point. So this is why you can work with certain energies that makes you invisible from the law, because the law of man isn't universal law. If someone was chopping up babies, should that be against the law? See, this is the thing. I don't promote harming anybody. I don't promote that. Some people use spirituality to do shit like that. You know, I guess, you know, Satanists or Luciferians or any dark group. I don't know. But I don't recommend harming anybody, because for what? What do you need to harm anybody for? Why would you be chopping up babies? Right? What is that doing for you? But let me make my point. For example, we can use slavery. Well, yes, if somebody's attempting to harm you and you end up harming them, that's different than just chopping up babies who wasn't doing shit to you. That's a difference. Yes, you defend yourself at all times, but as opposed to somebody harming you, which isn't happening on a daily basis, you shouldn't be harming anybody else. But getting back to my point, slavery was legal at one point, right? It's not legal now, but it was legal. With that being said, everything that's illegal now was at some point legal. At some point, everything that's illegal now was legal at some point in history. Which tells you that the law is constantly changing. Period. There was a time where you can just smoke your weed and not go to jail, which I guess is coming back to that now eventually. But in some places, you can still go to jail for smoking weed out in the public. That was not always the case. right? So, if you use your spirituality to, I'm not even going to say commit crime, just to do what you must. To do what you must. That's why you use these entities. To do what you must, even if it may be illegal at this current time. That's all it is. You use your spirituality to evade the law that's not for you anyway. The law is an artificial intelligence. If you want to follow artificial intelligence, feel free to do so. But if you claim to be a god or a goddess or somebody of a higher anarchy, somebody that represents the spirituality of things, yeah, you carry the sigil in your pocket or you keep it on your altar, depending on however you choose to work with it. There's no right or wrong way, just as long as it's around your energy. So, if you claim to be a divine being, man-made laws should be of no substance to you whatsoever. Doesn't mean that you are a complete savage just harming people, because again, even Aleister Crowley said, harm none. Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law, but don't harm or infringe on nobody else's, you know what I'm saying? Don't get in nobody else's way and don't harm nobody else. Simple as that. You can do as you please, other than that. Speak about weed. Is the devil Jesus? Is the devil Jesus? Some people may say that. Some people may say that Jesus is the actual Antichrist, because we know that there is no real image of Jesus. That's a artificial creation. And we already know the Christian Jesus is a devil. And again, we already know that's an artificial creation. Christianity is an artificial creation. So, but as much as that is an artificial creation, the devil is an artificial creation too. The devil isn't real. There is no horned man running around this motherfucker. Just like there is no white Jesus running around this motherfucker. These are concepts. The devil is Baphomet. Baphomet is Saturn. Jesus is the Christ. The Christ is the crown chakra. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's the crown chakra, which is the Christ. The devil or the Baphomet is the root chakra. It's just the two opposites. You just like in the Bible when Jesus says, Satan, stand in the back of me. He didn't say Satan die. See, that's the thing. Satan doesn't die, or the devil doesn't die. You just put it in back of you. That's why we were talking about the winged or the feathered serpent. The winged or the feathered serpent just represent you are still a serpent, or you can say you are still a devil, but you are conscious. You are a conscious devil. That's the easiest way I can say it. Just be a conscious devil. Be a conscious savage. Be a conscious beast. Because when you add the consciousness to it, you're going to make sure that you don't harm other people and you don't infringe on nobody else's free will. That's it. If you're not harming anybody and you're not infringing on somebody else's free will, which is why you're conscious, because you don't want that type of energy coming back on you either. You don't want somebody harming you or infringing on your free will. You do your thing. So as long as you're not invading nobody else's shit, do as you must, which is why I don't recommend petty crime. Don't be stealing out of fucking stores. Don't be doing no little petty shit, because it's not worth it. For what? You gonna use spirituality to fucking steal a set of headphones or some shit? What is the point of that? But can weed cause telepathy? Well, weed doesn't cause telepathy, but it may make it easier for you to tap into your natural telepathy, which already exists, but it doesn't create or cause telepathy. We already have that ability. Weed just enhances that, will make you more aware of the ability you already have. cultures like Islam talk about the arrival of the Antichrist. Is that true? Again, these are just concepts. That's it. And that's why I said the Antichrist, or the so-called devil, just represents the root chakra, which you can say in these times, the Antichrist is more powerful because you see what's going on around here. Most people are not conscious. Most people are just out here doing whatever the fuck. Complete savages. Whether you want to say it's the police locking motherfuckers up, planting shit on people, or it's people just completely harming people, or, you know, selling shit that kills people, fast food, so on and so forth. Give me 1 second. I see you, New Noise. Give me 1 second. So, the Antichrist is just a concept that you have the option to put the devil in front or in back, but it's not going nowhere. Same thing. You can be a conscious savage, or you can just be a savage. You can be a conscious criminal, or you can just be a criminal. You can be a conscious light worker, or just a light worker. You can be a conscious dark worker, or just a dark worker. You can either be the serpent, or you can be the feather serpent, but you're still a serpent. Meaning we are still animalistic beings. We are still primordial beings. We are still dark matter beings, etheric beings. That doesn't change. But how you express that etheric consciousness is based on you. You can express it to heal, or you can express it to kill. But it's the same energy. Christ is the devil, is just a different aspect of the devil. Same thing. Just like Christianity, probably in its inception, was to help people heal. But as it got corrupted, now it destroys your mind when it was supposed to elevate your mind. But that's a corruption of the system, but the concept itself is still the same. It's all about either be conscious with whatever it is that you're doing, or you have to, you know, submit to the consequences. While I was talking about earlier, you have to be in the spirit of whatever it is that you're doing. That means be conscious when you do what you do. Don't just do shit for the sake of doing it. Do it with consciousness. That's what guarantees success, or puts you on the path of guaranteed success. So hold on. On my phone. Do you have to have a physical copy? No. Memorize the sigil in your mind. Whatever sigils you work with, you can have a physical copy. Draw it. Draw it. It doesn't have to be mathematically proportionate. Just draw the sigil you use. Draw it out. Put the blood on it or the semen on it. Leave it on your altar or put it in your pocket. But if you want to download it on your phone, memorize it in your head. Yeah, draw it, charge it up, memorize it in your head so that you can tap into the energy whenever you want to, because you have it memorized, and it is a mathematical formula for you to tap into a particular energy that's already within you. That's all it is. So when you go through your day, tap into that energy when you want to use it. And when you want to see how it works in particular types of situations. Every situation is not going to be a life and death situation. So you may not become Superman unless you have to become Superman. You may just become the Flash. You know, that's why you study comic books and all these characters, so you can understand these things. So, should we trust the voices in our heads as guardian angels or entities? Illusion on the difference between intuition and... Okay, I see what you're saying. Now, the voices in your head, it can be positive or negative depending on what form that voice is coming in. Now, yeah, it may be a positive entity, it may be a negative entity. But if we're talking about intuition and fear, fear is basically, you can say, see, an easy way to explain fear is, give me 1 second, let me walk over here. All right. Okay, an easy way to explain fear, or the difference between fear and intuition. Intuition is more so of, now some people say it's a gut feeling, you feeling your gut. your spider senses. Since we're talking about comic book characters, it's your spidey senses. That's your intuition when your shit starts tingling. For positive or negative, you know, for some people, they senses start tingling when they see an attractive woman. They look over there, they see an attractive woman, they spider senses start tingling. Then, for some people, you feel that intuition when you're about to be harmed, when somebody's energy is directed towards you to cause you some type of harm. So, fear, on the other hand, is what you feel when it doesn't have to be a life or death situation. You can see the girl and you don't want to say nothing to her for no apparent reason other than, I don't know what to say. You know, it's that fear pretty much lowers your energy, where that intuition heightens your energy. You can say it like that. Intuition is going to heighten your energy. It's going to prepare you to fight, or it's going to prepare you to do whatever you need to do, whereas fear is going to take away your energy and it's going to paralyze you. So if your energy is being lowered and it paralyzes you, that's fear. If your energy is being heightened and your awareness is being heightened so that you can do something, that's intuition. So that's the difference. So can weed hack the law of attraction? Nothing can hack the law of attraction because it doesn't need to be hacked, because it's a perfected law. You can't hack a perfected law. And you say because you see Wiz Khalifa? See, yeah, Wiz Khalifa smokes a lot of weed. But, you know, there's many other people that's doing other things that don't smoke weed, that make just as much money as he make, you know, that had just as much influence in their own field of circumference. May not be hip-hop, it may be a different field, but you don't necessarily need weed. That's just his particular endorsement or his investment. See, he has his own strand, and he has, you know, endorsements by weed, you know, his own rolling papers and all that. So it makes sense for him to promote that because that makes him money. Because that promotes people, they see him, they want to buy his strand, they want to buy his rolling papers, they want to buy whatever, you know, his name is on. So it makes sense for him because he's not just smoking, he's promoting and advertising products. That's the difference. So, you know, if you want to be a big smoker, you might as well make money from it instead of, you know, spending all your money on it. It makes him money, so it makes sense for him to do it. As opposed to he just being a weed head or somebody who smokes a lot of weed, it's making him money, it's putting money in his pocket. You know? So, like I said, the law of attraction doesn't need to be hacked. It's perfected. It's just more so you have to use it better. And you use it better by tapping into that Hyperion theorem. Accelerating your consciousness. That's how you go deeper into the law. So you don't need to hack it, you just need to go deeper into it. When you go deeper into it, that's when you start to, as I was saying earlier, you start doing all that miraculous fly shit because you're going deeper into your own DNA and rewriting your history. So for all the weed smokers out there, I'll answer your question in just a second. For all you weed smokers out there, program your weed, first and foremost, with a certain intention and see if that intention materializes. So if you want to use some spirituality instead of just getting high, you want to activate spirituality, program your weed with a certain intention and see if the weed helps you manifest that so that it's a complete cycle. So, whatever that means to you, program your weed and see if it helps you materialize something and go from there. So don't just smoke just getting high because you like being high. That just makes you a fucking junkie. I just smoke just because I like being high. That's the Satan or the devil. But if you want to tap into the Christ, program your shit. It's still weed, you're still getting high, but you're doing a little bit more now. You're pushing, you're going beyond the high. That's the point. You want to go beyond the high and tap into the spirit. Simple as that. That's the difference between the root and the crown. getting high just to be high, or getting high with an intention and a purpose, and transcending the high to the point where it doesn't matter that you're high. It's you're programming a herb and having a certain experience so that you can have a certain type of result. So you are adding your spirituality and doing spiritual work while high to the point where the high doesn't even matter. You're just like, all right. It doesn't. So somebody asked me, how do you get in contact with Tupac? Did you see my Machiavelli Magic video? I did a whole video on Tupac. Did you see the video? Because if you already saw the video, I can give you extra pointers. But if you didn't see the video, I would suggest you watch the video. It's called Machiavelli Magic. Watch the video called Machiavelli Magic. So, if you want to get in tune with Tupac, or I guess any artist, you have to find a mathematical number. So I'll give y'all an example. If you want to get in contact with Jimi Hendrix, for example, it's 333. So, 333 taps you into Jimi Hendrix. So, with Tupac, what number was surrounded by him all the time? 7. If you want to get in contact with Tupac, right? Besides, you know, him being El Cristo Negro, he said he already saw the video, so I don't need to repeat that. Travis Scott is still alive, so if you want to get in contact with him, he actually has a phone number where he'll, you know, go to his show or do music with him or do business. But we're talking about people who has transcended the physical body. So, Tupac will be 777. Right? So if you want to get in contact with Tupac, chant 777 with the intention of getting in contact with Tupac. Then study your dreams. He's famous, he won't answer. Well, you personally had to put yourself in position so that a person like Travis Scott will want to be in contact with you. See, now it's back on you. If you want to get in contact with somebody that's actually still alive, you have to put yourself in position for them to want to get in contact with you, however that is. So whatever your profession is, whatever it is that you do, you have to put yourself in position to where they will want to work with you. It's about business. Because, you know, it's going to be business. So you have to put yourself in a business position so that they will want to work with you. Instead of just calling this person on the phone, you know, you have to put yourself in position. That's why you activate your spirituality. All right. What happens when you disrespect the dead in your mind? How would you do that? How would you disrespect the dead in your mind? Give me an example of what that means. And what is capital Steve's number? See, I don't know every person's number. You just have to see what it is that they represent. It doesn't have to be just one sequence, though. See, that's the thing. So with capital Steve's, because I don't know everything about him as much as I would know about a Jimi Hendrix or a Tupac, but you may know more about him than I do. So based on what you know, because obviously you're trying to get in contact with him, but based on what you know, you have to assign him a certain number based on who he is or who he was and what he represented. It's going to be between the numbers of 1 through 9. So whatever number best fits what he represents and what he is, because he is eternal, then you have to assign him a certain number, and it's a trial and error thing. If it don't work the first time, then you just keep assigning numbers and see which one works. Killing them again, putting them in situations that can be unlike them. Now, why exactly would you disrespect the dead in the mind? See, I see your example, but why would you even be doing all that? Why would you be killing them again if they're already dead? What is the point of doing that? It's crazy. I made a sequence, 23 moon, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I see you, New Noise. Definitely keep working with that number 5. That's definitely the energy I'm working with now. That Mercury, number 5. That's definitely my house number at this point. So definitely 5 is all about progression, innovation, knowledge, you know, all type of information. If you want to understand the digital age, that's definitely the number 5. You said the weed, what would be Michael Jackson's number? Michael Jackson is definitely 999. You know, he always wore the general's jacket. You know, a warrior, El Cristo Rey. So 999 is Michael Jackson, definitely. The weed, bro, high as fuck. So weed makes you disrespect the dead by killing them again. That's what the weed did. That's very interesting. I've never heard that before. But I wouldn't recommend doing it or continuing to do it. I don't think that will benefit you in any way. Can cigarettes be used as magic? Yeah, definitely. For those who don't have the book, download the book, Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs by Scott Cunningham. Shouldn't cost any money if you don't want a physical copy. If you're cool with a digital copy, it shouldn't cost no money. If you want to spend money, it's like 20 bucks. Get you a physical copy. Tobacco is a spiritual herb. Tobacco is used to communicate with spirits. So tobacco can be used to communicate with spirits. That's its spiritual attribute. You can actually do that with tobacco. So if that's something you choose to do with tobacco, that's definitely something you can do. But definitely enhance your knowledge of herbs overall so that you can, you know, keep going. Don't limit yourself to tobacco, but tobacco is definitely used to connect with spirits. Just light. You don't necessarily have to smoke it. Just take a couple puffs, 2-3 puffs. You know, go to a graveyard, take a cigar. You know, because, yeah, I guess you wouldn't want to be disrespectful with cigarettes. Just buy a fucking cigar or a blunt. Take 2-3 puffs and just let that shit light. And it's like, it's an invitation to spirits. You know, it's inviting the spirits, letting them know that you're cool. And you are acknowledging them. You are acknowledging the spirit realm when you do that. And you can do that before any ritual, just period, for those who smoke tobacco or who just would like to use a cigar. Have you ever mixed it? Of course, you know, anybody who smoke weed, I'm pretty sure you mix tobacco with herb, you know. All right, what up? I see you. Is smoking really that bad? I mean, who said smoking was bad? Scientists? It's all about, like I was saying before, it's all about, yes, if you're just abusing it, you're just getting high just to be high, you just like the way it feels, not you just, you know, you just become a junkie, you just get addicted to the high, then yes, it's bad because you made it bad, not because it actually is. But if you combine it with your spirituality, like if you smoke anyway, you might as well combine it with your spirituality. If you don't smoke, then you don't got to think about it. You can just use it if you want to, or don't use it, use something else, use tobacco or use a different herb. But if you just abuse it, you just get high like everybody else. That's what everybody else does. So if you are doing what everybody else does, then you know it's a problem. Same way motherfuckers just drink alcohol just to get drunk and fall out. That's abuse. But if you use it, spit it in all 4 corners, you know, for the Bobby Hemmett fans, y'all seen them do it, sip the alcohol, spit it in all 4 corners. You know what I mean? And sip that shit with a spiritual intention, that's different. So that's the thing. If you, whatever it is that you're doing, just combine it with your spirituality so that you can transmute the energy so that it doesn't just have bad effects on you. It doesn't have bad effects on you. That's the difference. You said modern ideas is an attribute to the number 5. My music is very modern. Yeah, definitely number 5 is all about, you know, bringing in that new wave. You know, bringing in, you know, just being progressive, bringing in that new energy. You know, that's what number 5 is all about. Number 5 is definitely the next level, seeing into the future. And, you know, Mercury is the fastest planet that rotates around the sun, so it's the most accelerated planet. So, you know what that is. You know. Can you debug the myths of a psychic attack? Absolutely. I will do that in just a second. Hold on. All right, so psychic attacks are not necessarily myths. Not completely. See, a psychic attack, you can say, well, as people explain it, a psychic attack is a you can say a demon, or sometimes an entity that attacks you either in your sleep, or, you know, invades your body, or, you know, puts thoughts in your head, so on and so forth, right? It's most of the time it's an evil or a bad definition of it. So, what is actually a psychic attack in real time? In real time is just you having your defenses down. See, this is the thing. Another thing. Most spiritual people don't view themselves as warriors. They don't view themselves as warriors. They view themselves as peacemakers. They don't view themselves as warriors. If you even want to access the spirit realm, you must protect yourself the same way you have to protect yourself when you're on the battlefield. If you're going to go on the battlefield, you may as well have a gun, or you're going to get killed. In spirituality, if you want to access all this unseen shit, you protect yourself so that you don't have shit like that happen. But the idea of modern spirituality, everybody is all about being open, connected to the universe, love and light. They don't even acknowledge all that other shit. It's not that it's bad, it just keeps you on point. The same way life keeps you on point, the same way you lock your fucking door at night so that nobody comes and rob you. It's the same thing. Not that somebody's going around checking doors, but just in case. That's why you lock your fucking door. That's why you bring the gun to the battlefield. That's why you have spiritual protection, so that shit like that doesn't happen to you. It just keeps you on point. Not that you're a negative person, not that it actually does happen, but it keeps you on point so that you can balance the spirituality with defense as well as offense. You have the offense, the shit that you project out, but then you have the defense, the shit so that you can keep yourself protected at all times. So you must view yourself as a warrior. Don't view yourself as somebody open, somebody that's just doing shit. Hold on, let this plane pass. So that's the difference. The difference is you are a spiritual warrior, not somebody who was just doing this shit for fun and don't know exactly what the fuck they're getting themselves into. That's why most people put the dark path down. That's why most people, they don't condone the dark side, or, you know, whatever, because the only difference is you protect yourself. You don't just give, you're not just open and giving and loving and all that shit. Because you open yourself up to be eaten up by these fucking ruthless motherfuckers. But when you are protected, you don't have to deal with that shit because you are protecting yourself. And if you do have to deal with it, you at least have some type of avenue to protect yourself. You must protect yourself at all times. They say that shit in boxing too. Protect yourself at all fucking times while you are in the ring. When you step into the ring, the spiritual ring, the battlefield ring, protect yourself at all times so that that shit doesn't happen to you, so that you don't become a victim. That's it. Protect yourself at all times. That's all it is. How do you get rid of a shadow entity with salt if it is possible to embrace it? Now, what do you mean? Is it an entity outside of you or inside of you? Where am I in Vegas? Summerlin. I'm like on the border between Vegas and Summerlin. Yeah, so if you know where Summerlin is, then you have an idea. It's like a 5-hour walk to the strip, maybe like a 30-minute drive. So yeah, Summerlin. Yeah, that's what happened to you. I mean, you know, it's not your fault. It's just that this is just the image that people put out, and that's what I mean by the New Age. I was just the New Age mythology, where people think that this shit is all nice, but they really make you fooled. You become fooled to motherfuckers who really know what's going on. When you're just all open, love, light, you become fooled. That's all it is. So if you don't want to become fooled, protect yourself and kill or be killed when it comes down to it. That's why I be talking about my dreams. I be killing all type of motherfuckers. Because you can say people be coming at me in my dreams and I have to cut the fucking heads off. I don't feel no type of way about it. This is what it is. You have to protect yourself. Nas or Future, what do you mean? Are you asking me who's better or who I prefer? What do you mean? Outside? So if you want to get rid of a shadow entity outside of yourself, so what do you mean by outside? Outside where? Are they following you around or is it in your house? Who do I prefer, Nas or Future? I prefer Future at this point in 2017. But if you would ask me that in 1994, I would say Nas. So, you know, I definitely, yeah. At this point, I'm going to listen to it. I still got Future on my phone right now. I still got DS2. I got a lot of Future on my phone right now. I can't say I have a Nas song, although you know, I prefer Nas if I'm more in a lyrical state of mind. I listen to something like Killer Priest. You know, I prefer Killer Priest. Moneybagg Yo, 1994, I believe. 1994 is when Illmatic came out, his first album. I believe it was 94. Yeah, 94. When You Sleep, okay, you talking about When You Sleep. Moneybagg Yo, I haven't heard anything from him. See, I'm subscribed to Worldstar, so I'm in tune with all these new dudes, but I don't always get a chance to listen to their music. So I know who Moneybagg Yo. You can pretty much anybody you name. I hadn't heard the name before, but I just haven't listened to all of their music. Okay, so you said When You Sleep. Okay. Work with the energy of Saturn. If you want to protect yourself, work with the energy of Saturn. Saturn is all about protection. And what do I mean by work with the energy of Saturn? Whether get you a crystal like the black crystals. If you have any black crystals, if you are a crystal person, the black crystals, surround your head with some black crystals. If you use salt, use sea salt. Put a cup of water above your head when you sleep. Pour some sea salt in there, and that's going to absorb the negative energy. Right, you can also wear black when you sleep. Wear all black or sleep naked. Don't just fall asleep. Meditate yourself to sleep. Don't just go to sleep because you're tired. Meaning take into the dream world some type of thought or something. Take something into the dream world. Whether you're chanting a mantra or you create some type of world you want to go to, take something to the dream world. Don't just go to sleep and just, you know, you just wake up and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Well, if you even wake in your dreams, you want to definitely control your environment. Make sure that you are always in a clean environment. Everything is organized. You know, open your window up, let some fresh air get in. Sleep in complete blackness. Put a bandana around your eyes if you can't sleep in complete blackness. Just things like that. You just have to make a conscious effort to just accelerate your spirituality. Just do more and more things. If you have any type of symbols like this, if you have any type of symbols or sigils, draw sigils that represent Saturn. Just type in Saturn sigils. Also, I actually have some Saturn things I'm working with right now. I'll give you an example right now. Give me 1 second. I'll show you right now. Let me set this down. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to show you my sigils. And this is what I mean, see. A lot of people, a lot of things that are being brought up, you know, I was already in tune with before, so the fact that it's actually coming up is very interesting. So I'm going to show you my Saturn sigils that I'm working with right now. All right. Some organizing some stuff. All right, take this wallet out. All right. See where this is. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Okay, here we go. This is a Saturn square. You see that? You see on the side right there that says Saturn square, right? And the square root of that is 15. That's why I have 15 right here. Right? What is this? I think I have 15 at the top as well. What is this? And Yig. If you work with the Necronomicon, this is a Necronomicon deity called Yig, Y-I-G. So this is a Saturn symbol. Have this with you. So this will help you channel the energy of Saturn. So type in Saturn square. Type that in, and you see I also have the square, but I have the sigil of Yig as well. So you see the Saturn square, but I also have the sigil of Yig, which is why you see this line drawn here in this little part. You see this, you see that circle, you see the line, you see that curve. You see that's the sigil of Yig. So I got the sigil of Yig as well as the Saturn square. There you go. So that's how you, if you want to channel Saturn, type in Saturn square. All right. And what else do I have here? Give me 1 second. I have something else. Let me just set this phone down. I have these in like secret compartments. So give me 1 second. Grab this. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is another Saturn seal. Right here, I have this folded up in my wallet. Right, and this is the keys or the seals of Solomon. Here we go. So these are the seals or keys of Solomon. Here's one of them, and here's the other one right here. And these are the representations of Saturn. Right? Boom. So those are quick flash. So type in the seals of Solomon or the keys of Solomon, and you will be able to see what those mean. All right. So put this back in here. All right. See, y'all motherfuckers got me pulling out my seals, but that just goes to show that you see I'm really about this shit. I stay on deck. I stay on point with this shit, right? For you motherfuckers who thought I was playing. Well, okay. I see all these. Let me answer these questions. See how much battery I got. I got 30%, so we just gonna go into the fucking battery cutoff. So I don't know how long that is in time, but I have 30%. You said sexual energy is important for manifestation. What if you're straight and the moment you want to stop, the moment you want to start, you get told you're gay when you're not? Well, if you're not gay, then fuck what they said. If you're not gay, fuck it. That shouldn't mean shit, but it really doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. You know? Sexual preference has nothing to do with sexual energy. As long as you express it, don't suppress it, express it. So long as you don't suppress your sexual energy and express it, and that doesn't necessarily mean always having sex. You can express your sexual energy in many ways, but just don't suppress it. Thanks for all the knowledge, no doubt, bro. Should we be accepting of a sexuality that we do not accept? No. Don't accept nothing that doesn't resonate with you. Yeah, definitely. You say you fuck with Mars. Yeah, Mars is Tuesday to number 9. Absolutely. You know, definitely get in tune. I think I spoke about that in the previous video, just being in tune with the energies on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And the more you do that, I'll just give this quick example. The more you do that, the more you work with energy on a daily basis, the more you'll realize what energy is for you, what energy works for you. When you realize what energy you favor, then you work more with that energy. That's how you find out which energy is strong within yourself. It may be Venus, it may be Saturn, it may be Mercury, it may be the sun. Once you identify, because every day, Sunday, Sunday through, Sunday, I guess, you got the sun, you got moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, 7 days, 7 chakras, 7 energies, 7 metals, so on and so forth. So once you find what energy that you resonate with the strongest, then you amplify that energy by creating seals and magical squares, working with particular deities, certain type of sigils and symbols, so on and so forth. Knock yourself out, whatever you choose to work with. You can't carry it all in your pocket, you just download it, whatever works for you, man, as long as it's working. If it works, then it works. Simple as that. So if you got to download it on your phone, if you don't want to carry it, if it works, then it works. However it works for you. If it works, it works. I believe in destroying enemies. I'm lustful. Anything that resonates with Mars, I fuck with. Well, again, we all going to have enemies. And they must be destroyed, or they will destroy you. So that's what Mars is for. Mars is your offense, while Saturn is your defense. So anybody who does fuck with you, and there will be people who do fuck with you, whether it's on a mental level, spiritual level, or a physical level, you got Mars to fuck them up, and then you got Saturn to protect yourself. Simple as that. Are we the fallen angels? Explain the real meaning of Lucifer, the fall of Lucifer. Well, I kind of hit on that a little bit earlier, but I will reiterate it here. Are we fallen angels? The answer to that is yes, because earlier, you may not have been here earlier, but what I was talking about earlier is we fail to rise back up. We were once the fools, just in the Garden of Eden, not knowing shit, like a child. We lost our spiritual consciousness. Now we're here to gain it back. And get back to the Garden of Eden, spiritually, by being the magician. Activating your magic. Now you have to use your magic to get back to the Garden of Eden, as opposed to you just being there naturally, like children are. So this is why we talk about spirituality. This is why we talk about quantum mechanics, chaos theory, magic, magician, melanin, ether, spirit. All these things are tools to get back in tune with your spiritual Garden of Eden. So we fail here and forgot everything so that we can relearn it and spiritually, create your spiritual heaven. Now, Lucifer, who was the light bringer or the light bearer, is just simply light, that heavenly light, that Hyperion. That's what Lucifer is, the heavenly light or the godly light. And the godly light or the heavenly light is spirit or ether, which is dark matter. That's the difference. So that light bearer is really dark matter, because it's within the dark that the light, you can't see light without dark. Many people don't understand that. You cannot even see light without dark, because if everything was completely illuminated, you couldn't see shit, right? You couldn't see anything. If it was just a big white bright light, you couldn't see shit. It's because of the darkness that you can see all these different color lights and all this stuff. You can't even see true light in the midst of light. You have to bring the darkness. Definitely. Shout out to everybody tuning in to the live stream, no doubt. You know what I mean? You gotta do mad research. You had to do mad research. That's what it is. We research to get back to the Garden of Eden, to activate our magic, to see who we truly are and to understand what we're truly capable of, to activate our natural science. so that you don't have to depend on artificial intelligence. Like before it was a Google and before it was computers, there were geniuses. There were people who had all this information in their mind before there ever was a Google, before there ever was books. There were people who had all this in their head because they knew it, because they studied nature, because they wasn't distracted. What would people do today without a YouTube, without a computer, without a phone? Because people think, oh, we would be lost. Well, what the fuck were people doing when none of this shit was available? Let's go back to the 70s, the 60s and 70s. You see what they was doing. They were having conversations like this just amongst each other. The counterculture. Then when the 70s came in, you know, that's what the whole age of Aquarius, the 13 signs astrology, all these things came about in the 70s. The, what is it called? All that, the New Age movement started in the 70s. Before all this shit, before people had computers and fucking technology, cell phones, internet. So these type of conversations were already being had before all this. We're just being reintroduced to it. That's all it is. But before all this artificial technology and all this artificial intelligence, we naturally were growing into this level of consciousness, purely, just naturally, just studying the things that was going on around us. When you study nature, things become more and more apparent that you may not have known because, you know, you just staring at walls all day. You know, not a lot of people just go outside and just be in nature. A lot of people just stare at walls all day, whether you at work, at home, somebody else's house. You don't really study nature because you don't know how. You've lost that intelligence, but we are in a time where you can gain it back. Have I met, what is it, Azazel? Azazel, have I met? I definitely have worked with that energy before. I definitely worked with that energy. Hold on. Oh, okay, because somebody already asked me this. Okay, give me one. I missed a couple questions. Is there a deeper meaning because the Book of Enoch is imaginative, but not true in contrast to the Book of Azariah? Okay, I see what you're talking about. Now, when it comes to Enoch or Enoch, however you want to say it, the Book of Enoch, which is he became the angel Metatron, who basically transcended his physical body and became ether. Basically, you can say that. Because to become an angel is to transcend the physical. That's why we are called fallen angels. You're still an angel, you're just fallen. You just don't have your fucking wings. But obviously, wings are symbolic because obviously angels don't really have wings because angels are just pure beings of light. We are pure light. The body is pure light. However, you just add the consciousness to understand what that truly means. We are walking emanations of true light, dark matter, ether, melanin. We all have this shit within us already. We just are not conscious of what that means. When you become conscious of what that means, you may be a fallen angel, but you regain your wings when you apply your consciousness to everything that you're doing. But you're still an angel, whether you're fallen or not. Let's see. You said we work with the planets, they will reveal secrets. Is it too early to expect anything in 3 months from Mars? You can work with Mars every single day. So you got Tuesday, which is the planet Mars, but download, what is it called? Astrology hours or zodiac hours or horoscope hours. I don't remember it. Planetary hours. Download an app called Planetary Hours so that you can see every hour of every day and what energy is in effect. So every day when it comes around to the energy of Mars, do a mantra or work with a certain deity or, you know, meditate on a certain idea. However you choose to work with Mars, work with it every day in the hour of Mars. Enhance it. You got to accelerate it. So don't just wait for Tuesday. Every day, every hour, not every hour, but at the particular hour of Mars, every day work with that energy. And again, this applies to whatever energy you want to work with. You don't have to wait to the actual day of the week. Every day, you have at least 3 opportunities to work with every energy. See, right now, because I have the app, it's the planet, it's the energy of Venus at this current moment. It's the energy of Venus, because when you have the app, it's going to give you a notification every time the energy changes. So if I wanted to work with Venus, I don't have to wait to Friday. It's an hour of Venus. So whatever I want to do on Friday, I can do within this hour. So every day work with Mars. If you want accelerated results, you got to work with Mars at least 2 times every day. 1 time in the daytime and 1 time in the nighttime. Work with that shit 2 times a day, every day, and amplify it on the day of Tuesday. And then you will start to get accelerated results. So you just got to pick it up. You got to pick up the speed. You know, can we be someone else's body in space, time? Because I feel this way when I smoke weed. You're just in a higher version of yourself. You're not in somebody else's body. We have like 7 bodies. We have bodies that you can't perceive with your eye. Now you have your emotional body, you got the etheric body, so on and so forth. You got all type of bodies. You know, that's why it's called the oversoul. You have an oversoul. You have many different elements that you are not aware of, but when you smoke weed, you start to become aware of all these other bodies that you have. Excuse me. You become aware of all the bodies we already have. So you just becoming aware of what's already here. See, this is all spirituality is. You just become aware of what's already going on. You're not becoming aware of anything new. You're just becoming aware of what's already going on. That's why I say we're not evolving to anything. We're just becoming aware of what is already taking place. What up? What up from Dallas? First time making a live chat. Yeah, we've been on this motherfucker 2 hours and 30 minutes. But I definitely appreciate you checking in. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to Texas. You know, my biggest audience is in Texas, so, you know what I mean? I'm always show love to Texas. Did Jesus smoke weed or do acid? I mean, we already know Jesus wasn't walking on this earth. So if we're talking about ancient people, then yes, motherfuckers was shroomed out. They probably wasn't doing acid because acid is man-made. But they were doing shrooms, they were doing ayahuasca, they were smoking weed. You know what I mean? But that's your birthright. Our birthright is to access these herbs so that we can become aware of these higher realities that's already in existence. Shout out to South Central, shout out to LA. You know what I mean? I see you, bro. Come down to Houston. I'm not sure if I'm gonna come down to Houston. It's fucking crazy down there. I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna definitely show love. But that's not to say I'm not. But yeah, if I would come anywhere, it definitely would be Texas, because I do have the largest audience. So shit, you know what I mean? I'm not against that at all. Y'all just let me know how it is down there, you know, Dallas or Houston or what part of Texas. Y'all definitely keep me updated with what's going on down there. Does weed have a spirit? Absolutely. Weed definitely has a spirit. You wanna, Houston is cool? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Thanks for the update, man. But shout out to fucking Texas once again. Shout out to LA. You wanna meet in LA? Shit, when the fuck would I be in LA? I'm not sure the next time I would be in LA, but why not? You know what I mean? But you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure you know, it's real territorial in LA, so, you know, every time I come to LA, I definitely have to watch where I move, watch where I be. Because last time I was in LA, motherfuckers didn't like me being there. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I mean? I don't think I told the story on YouTube. I may not have told the story, but I'll say it now quickly. Cause this is when this is what happened. When I was in LA before I went to New York, when you see it on a live stream, so all this is documented. So you see I was in LA Then I went to New York. Then I came back to LA. When I was in LA before I went to New York, it was all good. When you was at the Staples Center, I don't know if that's was when after I came back. That may have been after. But yeah, around that time, that's when I came back from New York, I believe. Before I went to New York, everything was cool. When I came back from New York, LA wasn't the LA I knew at all. It's not that shit changed. It's just that people start to receive my energy differently to the point where, you know, now I actually have beef. I think I have beef in LA now because motherfuckers didn't like it. I'll give you an example. It would be shit like motherfuckers is pouring, you know, like you know, you see me in the videos, I be going down the little bridges, you know, by the freeways and all that shit. Motherfuckers just start pouring water and shit on me. I'm like, what the fuck is doing this shit? I go up there, nobody's around. I'm like, what the fuck? Motherfuckers just doing little shit and running. Then, you know, like throwing little water bottles, one up the stairs, nobody's there. You know what I mean? So just little shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So, motherfucker definitely was not feeling my energy for whatever fucking reason. So I'm like, I may have to fucking take a nigga out. So to keep people spared, I'm not going back for a while. Let shit calm down. And I'll be back soon. Yeah, I know it's like, what the fuck? It is what it is, though, you know what I mean? We not scared of the drama. So, we ready for war at all times. All right, I'm at 15%, so I have to kind of keep my hand on the comments so I can see them, but we're going to go all the way in. We'll go in a couple more minutes. Okay. But yeah, like I said, you know, I love LA. I was in LA for years. I came to LA when I was 18. You know, that's when I first went into the streets. That's when I first was getting my mind right. So I got a lot of history in LA. I went to LA back in 2009. So I have a lot of history in LA. But I didn't understand the dynamics of LA till when I started more recently. I started to, you know, the territorialism, the gangs and all that shit. I didn't really understand that element till more recently. So, like when I would be in the streets, just roaming all around the city, you know, it would be particular places that motherfuckers didn't like me being there, but I didn't know. You know, I wasn't doing nothing to nobody. I'm just passing through, but you know what I mean? That's LA for you. So it is what it is. You know, you just got to stay on point. So that's all it is. You know, it's like you in a war zone, you got to stay on point. Let's see. It's kind of hard to read these comments. Hold up. Whenever I try to put myself in songs and try to use what artists say in music, can we use an artist's song to manifest? Yeah, you can definitely. Music definitely can help you get into an altered state of consciousness. So if it's a particular artist, music that helps you get into a trance state, then by all means use music. You don't always have to use silence when you meditate. Shit, I'm at like 5%. All right, so we're gonna get off here. We've been on here for a while. Yeah, I see it's a lot of people. We'll talk about this. I see. I may go on tomorrow, maybe the next day. So we'll talk more about, you know, LA and New York, the differences in my personal experiences. So we'll get into all that the next time. But for now, I'm gonna check up out of here because the battery is about to die. So you know what I mean? Take this 2 hour and 30 minutes and elevate your life. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.